What's up guys, so welcome back to the channel. Today's the day we've all been waiting for. We're finally painting this engine bay, and I'm excited to see how this bay turns out with this new paint color that we've chosen. You guys have seen in the previous video what the color does look like on the panel, but now this is really going to show us what it looks like in this engine bay. So guys, I'm super keen for this. I've saved you from watching all the boring stuff. Everything has been prepped, it's fully cleaned, wiped down, tacked. So we're just going to get right into it, touch up the areas that need primer, and then we're going to start off with just a plain black base coat, because I don't really want to try and use the color to cover up any areas that need extra paint. So we're going to lay down a solid black base first, and then we're going to cover it with the actual black pearl. This is the product that I'm going to be using for the touch-ups. See, places like this where you can see the metal is exposed, there's only a couple of areas like there and over here where I've sanded extra to try and bring the surface level. Only areas like that need this sort of touch-up. Now I'm not going to go mix up a whole batch of primer just to do a small area like this. So this is a product to use when doing touch-ups. As you can see, it actually says spot panel repair. So this is a product. I got my black base coat mixed up and ready to go. So the trick with this is you want to, let's just say that this was my primer, right? You want to shoot this, and as you're done shooting with it, you want to give it about maybe 30 seconds flash off time, and then you want to shoot the base coat over it, just so that you don't have to wait for the primer to dry and scuff it down or sand it, because these panels are thoroughly sanded with the 800, so I know that there aren't going to be any scratch marks. So that's what you want to do with this sort of application. You would call it a wet on wet. As you can see, the coverage is pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Now I've just mixed up my black pearl, and now we're going to shoot that on top of this. So if we did happen to miss any small spots, this black pearl is going to cover everything else up. Okay guys, so it's still going to be a bit of a while before this paint is fully cured, but it's dry enough for me to start with assembly. So I'm going to go and put back on everything that I took off the other day, like the brake booster and the master cylinder, and you know, all these other bolts on things that go here in the engine bay. So I'm going to get busy with that, so let's roll the hype laps. So you guys, it's starting to look like a car again. We have most of the stuff, sorry, excuse the lighting, it's actually night time right now, it's pretty late, but we have most of the things in place now. Most of the wiring is back in its original place. The ABS pump, I was almost considering leaving it out and doing like an ABS delete, but I thought we should rather just keep it in. Also got the brake booster back in, the master cylinders back in, so now what's left is this wiring over here that needs to go back onto the engine, but most of it's done. Hope you can see like this. I know it's a bit dusty now, I'm working on it. Kind of see the color. So either I'm really good or I got super lucky with these hard lines. For some miracle they managed to go back into their original places with these clips. You know, I'm still trying to keep the car a standard. if that's even possible, but still like, you know, factory neat. That's kind of what I'm sort of going for. Hey, what's up guys? So it's the next day today, and before I get this video started, I just want to say don't laugh at my shirt. I know it kind of does look like a baby grow, but it's not, and it's also not my pajamas. I got it as a gift, so might as well wear it. Anyway, so getting back to the video, this engine bay is now complete. I've plugged in all the wires that can be plugged in without the engine being in place. The rest of the engine is going to be plugged into this loom, so once the engine's back in, then the rest of the wiring will be complete, but the wiring is put in place where it needs to be. Everything is plugged in, so this engine bay is ready to get this engine. Before we do that, I need to lift this engine up, drain the oil, pull the sump off. I'm actually looking in this direction because that's where the engine is. Yeah, get the sump off so I can start making a new sump for this, and once the sump is complete, get it back on. The engine will be ready to go back in, mate it up to the gearbox, and then we can actually start with the headers. This is what this whole project is about. Actually, pretty much it's mostly surrounding the headers, and also we still need to do the rest of the front end to hold the radiator and maybe an intercooler. But anyways, let's just get into it. The only thing I showed you guys, probably forgot, but this is what the intake looks like after we sandblasted it. How nice did this thing come out? Almost feel like I just want to shoot a layer of clear and send it. Back to draining this fluid. I hope this container is going to be big enough, because this thing is starting to get real full. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. Hopefully it doesn't overflow. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking off these bolts around this sump, and then we can get it off and see what we're working with. You know what, you guys, I don't think this container is big enough. So go ahead and put this plug back in, trying to not to mess, and well, at least we got most of it out. So we'll just put the plug back in for now, get a different container. This thing is about to overflow. I actually think I have a faster way of doing this. Let me go check. Oh, never mind you guys. Turns out I don't have the tool that I thought I had. I could actually put this on the strip gun, but it's a bit of a mission right now to get that out. So we'll just do it this way. Well guys, this thing is silicone in here like crazy. So I'm first going to try and cut most of this silicone off. I'm running this blade through it because I don't really want to pry between the sump and the block. So I'll try and do this first, try and get most of it, and then I will get something in between there and do what I said you shouldn't do and try and pry it off. Damn, it's really on there. Guys, there you have it. As you can see, the sump is off and there is still plenty of oil left in here, so it definitely wasn't going to fit in there. Good thing I actually stopped it when I did, otherwise we would have had oil everywhere. Guys, I'm also going to need a new pickup because this one has seen better days, so I'm going to be getting a new one of these. I don't know where. I'll just go to the parts store and see if they can match something up as close as possible, and if I do need to modify anything, I can. But there we go guys. If ever you wanted to see what a V12 looked like inside, it pretty much looks like any other engine.